TTL Computer 2. Today we'll be taking a look at the second phase in our goal of achieving a flash file system or a flash drive for TTL Computer 2. And what we're going to do is I'll show you the elements of this phase 2, and then again we'll take the second half of the video to talk about a little bit of the implementation specifics there, and we'll take a look even at a little bit of code to see how this thing is architected. Okay, so let's go ahead and TTL Computer 2 is up and going again. So we have the same commands as before. So let's just do our directory command again. And we see that what's new here is that we still have drive 0. Now this is telling us how this file system is mounted, if you will. It's only available as a read-only file system. So that's just a little change there. Now, this is the substantive change here. Rather than just doing D for directory, we have to specify the drive letter. So D0 for drive 0, and we just looked at that. Now let's say D for drive 1. And now we get another file system. We have drive 1, and we see that this drive says that it is a readable and a writable drive. So that's new, right? So the whole thing, we have two drives now that are available on TTL Computer 2. We have drive 0, which is a read-only file system, and we have our thread and our screen program on there. Now we have drive 1, which is a read-write drive, and we have moved our regression test program there. So let's do a load again. Let's do a load of our screen program. We're going to do load and then screen. Now you see that found that. So without specifying a drive letter, it always assumes drive 0. So that what we did there was equivalent to saying load 0 and screen, right? So if we want to load something from drive 1, we need to specify drive 1. So let's try and load our regression program. Load from drive 1, our regression program. And that's loading, and that's done. And we could all right, so let me see. So that's the big change that we have. So now we have two drives. We have drive 0 and we have drive 1. So we have two file systems now on TTL Computer 2. This, however, is not a writable drive. It's just in there. It's just in there to show you that in the future, drive 1 will be writable. This, in fact, is two read-only drives for now, because we have to build our flash card. We haven't done that yet. Once we build our flash card, we will be able to start working on the driver for our writable flash card. So that's the addition, and it kind of looks trivial, but what I had to do was add an abstraction layer for the file system drivers. So what that means is that it's really easy now that we have an abstraction layer to essentially register file drivers. It's really easy to add a new drive. So once I put the code in to support the abstraction of the file system driver, it took me literally like 5 minutes to implement this second drive. And we'll take a peek at the code that will help us to realize what's going on there. All right, so what we're doing is looking at the structures in our monitor that allows us to support the notion of these file system drivers. So you can kind of see we have two drivers here. We have driver 0, right, and driver 1. So let's take a look at this structure defines the driver for drive 0, right? So this is this is actually an array that we are defining. We're defining an array of pointers to different objects. So driver 0 is an array, and the first item points to the driver ID string. The second pointer points to our directory read function. The third pointer points to our directory find function, and the fourth pointer points to our directory load file. So what this structure does is again, gives us an abstraction where we can divorce our code from the program code from the driver code. So that defines driver number 0, which is to the ROM system, and then this defines driver number 1, which will ultimately point to our flash system. But we see here the drive 1 ID, and then we have this is our drive 1 driver array, and again the first element here points to the drive 1 label pointer. The first array item points to the read function, and the next to the find function, and the final one points to the load function, which is just borrowing the load function from the right. We're using the same load function that we have from our ROM system because again, this is a dummy. It's not really a writable driver. It's really just a read-only driver. Okay, so those are the two structures that define our driver. That's driver 1 and all of its functions, and this is driver number 2 and all of its functions. So now we're defining a structure that points to file system drivers, right? And again, this is going to be an array of pointers to, this time not to functions, it's going to be pointers to file system drivers. So the first item in the array is a pointer to driver 0, and the second item in the drivers array points to driver number 1. So this is where we see the drive numbers and how the drive numbers are used, right? So when we say directory on drive number 0, it's taking the 0th item from the drivers array to get the driver for that file system. And that's the driver 0 file system. If we say directory on drive 1, that's going to be the 1th element from the drivers array, and that points to driver number 1, right? Points to here. So that's the abstraction layer. Mike, it's a little non-trivial to look at in assembly code, but you might want to rewind and watch that again. But it's pretty straightforward, and it's kind of a powerful thing. Now we can easily add another file system, just by getting another entry here for drive number 3, which would be drive number 2. Okay, so that looks like not a significant change, but it is a pretty significant change, right? So again, it's abstracted the notion of file systems, and it's really easy now to add a new file system to TTL Computer 2, and it helps simplify our code because now we can write one function that generates a directory, and that function can take and use different file system drivers to do the same code. Can make a directory on drive 0, right? That's the directory code there, and this is the same code but using the file driver for drive 1. Okay, so yeah, that's a pretty big change. It might seem trivial, but it's significant, and it's another significant step on our journey to a readable and a writable flash drive for our computer. And so we've kind of gone as far as we can go with our software uh, changes in preparation of our flash drive, we kind of now need to build our flash card. So we can't go much further than where we're at right now without our flash card. So that'll be our next milestone in our goal for a readable and a writable flash system for TTL Computer 2. So I think that's it for today. Until next time, thanks for watching.